Om Sadashiva-Samarambham Shankaracharya-Madhyamam Asmadacharya-Paryantam Vande Guru-Paramparam. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we will be on verse number 28. Please unmute yourself. Aparoksha Anubhuti, verse number 28. We will chant. Nirmalo Nischalo Nantaha Shuddhoham Jaro Maraha Naham Deho Hi Sadrupaha Jnanam Ityuche Budhaihi. Okay, so I'll just unmute all of you all and then we will carry on. So the second line we have seen before. Na aham dehaha hi asatrupaha jnanam iti uchyate budhaihi. Budhaihi, the wise person, the jnani says that na aham dehaha, I am not the body. Why? Hi asatrupaha, because the body is mithya only. Then who am I? So that's the first line. Nirmalaha. I am free from impurity completely. Mental impurity, physical impurity, verbal impurity. At all the three levels, there is no impurity at all. And therefore only Shuddhaha. I am ever pure. So Nirmala, we connect to Shuddhaha, which is in the third word. I am free from impurity at all the levels. And therefore I am ever pure. I am Shuddhaha. What is the idea of saying this? Shuddhaha, if you take it as not having papam, then Shastra is telling you that there is no need to be guilty. You know, a lot of spiritual teachers, they capitalize on the idea that you are a sinner. So they will tell you, you are a sinner and I will redeem you. But Shastra says, no, you are not a karta at all. Where is the question of your being a sinner? You were never a sinner. You are not a sinner. You will never be a sinner. What are you? Nirmalaha Shuddhaha. Free of all sins, free of all impurities, and ever pure. So that is the first idea. And the second idea is Nishchalaha. Chalam is movement. Nishchalaha means free from movement. We have discussed this with another word in the previous verse. Nishkriyaha. Akarta. Not doing any actions. Why is Nishchalaha, freedom from movement, equal to freedom from no actions?
Actions will require movement.
Actions will require movement, exactly. For example, you are picking up a glass, your hand has to move from one place to another place. So actions require locational change also, movement also. And at least mental movement has to be there in terms of the movement of the thoughts. So a kriya is Nishchalaha. I am free from all movement. The next word is Anantaha. So Anantaha is, we have talked about Anantaha before. It is freedom from limitation. And we talked about 3 types of limitations. Do you remember? What are they?
Space, time.
Time boundary.
Space boundary, time boundary.
Temporal, object.
Vastu.
Vastu boundary. Okay, so in Sanskrit, Desha Kala Vastu parichinna, aparichinna, free from the dimensions of space, free from the dimensions of time, free from the attributes of vastu, of any object at all. And therefore, I am space-wise without boundary. I am time-wise without boundary. I am all the objects, not limited to one object. And therefore, I am free from the limitation of a vastu, of an object. So, why do we say this? Why do we talk about attribute limitation? Because, okay, I'll ask you that question. Why do we talk about vastu limitation? Limitation by attribute.
Because there is no form.
There is no
No form to
mm,
Atman.
Observing, so there is no limitation by any object.
correct. But remember, the moment you are saying that you got an attribute, you are
The
also saying something else. What is that?
Guna.
We are saying the opposite of it also naturally is,
So when you say
if
I
I
am human being, when you say I am a human being, what are you indirectly saying?
I'm not a human being, or I'm not
No, you're
I cannot
indirectly
be any
saying
other thing.
I am not an animal,
animal.
I'm not a plant, I am not, when you say I'm a big person, you're saying I'm not a small person, right? So the moment you say that I've got an attribute, you are negating all the opposite attributes. And that is why we have to say that as Atman, I am free from any attribute, because I cannot have even a single attribute. Because a single attribute means I'm excluding all the other attributes, which means what? I am not infinite anymore. Infinite is a inclusion of everything. And therefore, you have to say that I am attributeless. You can also say every attribute I only have. Okay, now we will look at verse number 29. So let us chant that. Swadehe shobhanam santam
Swadehe
Shobhanam
Shobhanam
Santam
Santam
Purushakyam cha samamtam
Purushakyam cha
sammatam
Purushakammatam
Purushakyam cha sammatam
Purushakshamya
Purushakammatam
sammatam.
Kim murkha shunyamaatmanam
Kim
Murkhashunyamaatmanam
Dehatitam karoshi bhoho
Dehatītam
Karoshi
karoshi
bhoho.
bho.
So more discussion on Atma Swarupam. What does he say? Santam. Santam means is, available in. He is. Santam. Atman is what? Swadehe is that consciousness which is available. Swadehe. And Shobhanam, that Punya consciousness which is available in your own body. And why do you say it's available in the own body? Because it is only in your own mind that you can appreciate consciousness. How do you appreciate consciousness? What is the thought for appreciating that you are consciousness?
I am.
I am. Ahamasmi. Okay, that I am is the appreciation of the fact that consciousness is there, that I am that consciousness located. You cannot really say located, because consciousness is located everywhere. I am that consciousness which can be recognized, which can be appreciated only in my own mind, right? Remember that whenever you say I am, it is an expression of self-awareness. And every expression of self-awareness is an expression of consciousness. There is no pramanam needed. There's no source of knowledge needed to prove that you exist. I am is I am. I am consciousness. I am existing consciousness. I don't need anybody to tell me. I don't need any other proof. It is self-evident only, right? So, because why is it self-evident? Unless you are aware that of that I am, no other thought can come, right? This Swarupa Vritti it is, I am. Without that, no other thought can come. Okay. Now, the word Swadehe can be misinterpreted. Swadehe means what? In my own body, right? And that is why I said that it should not be taken as consciousness is available inside my body, because if you say that, then it is easy to conclude that, okay, in that case, consciousness is not available outside. So we should be very clear about the fact that consciousness is all pervading, and it is not that consciousness is located in the body. It is the body which is located in the all pervading consciousness, right? And if you have to, if you have at all to say that consciousness is in the body, you should say that consciousness is also in the body. But it's more correct to say that my body is located in consciousness, and therefore, if you say, is consciousness there in my body? Yes, it is also there in my body. Then what is the difference between the consciousness outside my body and the consciousness inside my body?
The consciousness inside my body is recognizable.
Yes, I recognize the consciousness inside my body. That consciousness outside my body is not recognizable, because only inside is the manifestation. Manifestation requires the reflecting medium. The reflection requires the reflecting medium. And without the reflecting medium, you cannot appreciate that. So in the Gita itself, we talked about light, right? Light itself, by itself, remember this is a very important idea. Light by itself is not manifest. We often think that, light is manifest, but really speaking, without the medium of a reflector, that is, without a reflecting medium, light also cannot be seen. Do you agree with that statement?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Then what about when I look out of my window and see the place lighted up and there is no reflecting medium? How can I see that light?
No, it's there.
That's because the dust
The dust
particles.
particles in the
Particles
atmosphere.
theory of light.
Dust particles are the reflecting medium, right? So this idea is extremely important, because that is what we compare consciousness to. Without a reflecting medium, it is not recognizable. Therefore, inside the body, I can recognize it because the mind is there. That, and here is the definition of a sakshi, that consciousness which is recognizable inside the body is called sakshi chaitanya. It's a very dicey way of putting it. That reflected consciousness, or the other way around, that original consciousness which is there in the body, which is there in the mind, but is recognizable in the mind, that original consciousness, that RC is called Sakshi Chaitanya. RC is there. Where is RC of consciousness in your body?
Rhythm.
No, that is the Hridaya is the Golakam for the mind. But remember that consciousness is there in the entire world, in the universe, and outside the universe also. So that all-pervading consciousness, which is recognizable inside your mind, that is called the Sakshi. Right? So that Sakshi consists of what all things?
OC and RM.
OC
And
and
RM.
RM. What is the difference between RC and Sakshi?
RC is reflected consciousness.
Okay.
So that RM is not present in case of OC.
RM is not present in case of OC. Yes, I grant you that. Not necessarily present.
Hmm.
But is the OC there in your body?
Yes.
It's everywhere, yes.
Yes.
It is everywhere.
Why am
OC
why,
is
why I'm emphasizing on this? It's very, very necessary to understand that when you say I, it has three components, not two.
Yes.
The I is the RM, the RC, and the OC. Right? Now, the difference between the RC and the Sakshi is a very subtle one. The RC is simply the reflection of the OC in the body or the mind. Right? The Sakshi is my recognition of that OC which is being reflected as the RC. To say that I am the RC is not Jnanam. To say that I am the Sakshi is Jnanam. Do you see the difference?
Yes.
When you
Yes.
say I am the Sakshi, you are not saying I am the RC, because RC is Mithya.
Also limited.
It's a limited entity subject to coming and going. But when you say I am the Sakshi, you are saying, okay, I am that Sakshi which I can recognize only because RC is there. But actually, I am that Sakshi, which is the original consciousness. And that part of it, you can't even say part, that aspect of it, which I recognize in my mind, that which makes me conscious, that is the Sakshi. Anybody can say, I am the RC. That's anybody who says, I am Jiva is saying, I am RC. But the one who says, I am the Sakshi is saying, I am actually that OC because of which the RC exists. Subtle point, worthwhile thinking about. Okay. And
Uh,
yeah,
Acharya ji, but in the Vyavaharika world, will the Jnani ever say, I am the Sakshi? Or should the Jnani ever be saying that?
if he says, I am, Sakshi or Brahman, what is he saying?
Wrong. Yeah. So then he is indicating that OC only.
No, the moment you say, I
no.
am so and so, when I say I am
Somebody is
Ravi,
not.
what am I meaning?
Somebody
You
is
are
not.
not Ravi, right?
Yeah.
Limitation.
Remember that Brahman, it really is beyond words.
Ah,
Like all that we are trying to say, all these words are basically we are trying, you can only explain using words, right? In Vyavaharika, you have to use words.
ji.
But the idea is to convey the concept of Brahman, which you are, and that concept is conveyed by negating everything else. That is why you use words. Even when you are trying to say what Brahman is, you are essentially always using words, right? Is all pervading. Now, the moment you say all pervading, the opposite idea also comes up, right? Not pervading. You cannot use a word without, especially a comparative, descriptive word you cannot use without bringing in the opposite. So there's always duality in words. And that is why it's so difficult to explain the idea of Brahman. That is why you take years together to try to understand. It's not, it's very simple to say Satchitananda. But for that idea to, assimilate in the mind, it takes time. I hope I'm making sense. You have to be able to sit with that idea and grasp it and meditate upon it until you're firmly convinced that, yes, I am that all-pervading consciousness. Everything else is within me alone.
Oh, Acharya, can I ask one question here?
Please go ahead, Manmohan.
Uh, so I mean, it's not exactly relevant to this topic, but I have a doubt. I mean, many times you have also explained, others have also explained, but I'm still not able to grasp it. That you were saying to know that I am OC, I have to use this RM, my
Yeah.
body, and yeah. So to now, question is, OC is everywhere. So this body only here I am able to recognize. Is it not possible to recognize with uh, or extending this recognizable field than the or over my body or outside my body also without intellect?
No, you cannot. See, that is a yogic thing. So don't go into that yogic aspect of it. In Vedanta, supposing you are standing in front of your child,
Mm-hmm.
and you will say, of course, he is conscious, right?
Yes.
Is that perception or is that inference?
Inference. Because he's talking, he's uh, doing other activities. So
You
from there,
cannot recognize that consciousness in the same way that you recognize the consciousness in your mind.
Hmm.
In your mind, it is self-evident. It doesn't need anything at all. It
Exactly.
needs no pramanam. But if you see a body lying on the road, you don't know whether he's conscious or not. That consciousness you do not recognize. Until he moves, you are not sure whether it's a dead body or otherwise.
Yes.
And therefore, in anybody outside you, anything outside you, consciousness, if at all recognizable, is recognizable by anumana pramanam, by inference alone, because some talking, doing, hearing, listening, questioning. While in yourself, the moment you open your eyes, the first thought is I am. It doesn't need any pramanam. That is the sakshi thought. That's why I'm saying that consciousness recognizable in your own mind as I am. That is why it's called sakshi. Because only when I am comes, then you can have you are or they are. Without the I, there is no you, there is no they. Without the first person, the second person, third persons do not exist.
Correct.
Grammatical explanation. Anyway. Okay.
Can I also ask something here, Ravi?
Nataraj, yes.
Yeah. But actually, you say when you wake up, and the first thought is, but actually, are we not just perceiving the RC? I mean, we're just appreciating the RC only. We're not really appreciating the OC.
You are the RC.
The
OC cannot appreciate anything. OC is inert, is not a knower. Only the RC is a knower. And therefore, to be a knower, you have to have the RM. Right? Therefore, the RC is the knower. Pramata, what we call the knower, is always the RC. But instead of recognizing that I am the RC, that I am thought. Once I get up and say I am a boy, then to that I am you have added something, some qualifications, right?
Right.
But the I am thought is should be actually free of any other aspects. What kind of body you have, where you are, whether you are sick or not. I am thought is simply I am. I am aware that I am. And therefore you don't need any other pramanam. That awareness that you exist and are conscious, that is called the sakshi. See, when you say I am, very often we say that I am simply presumes that I exist, right? But Can you say I exist if you are not conscious?
No.
And therefore,
No.
I am is the expression of awareness. Once I know that I'm conscious, then only that consciousness recognizes the existence of my body. So I say I am consciousness and I exist also.
But that I am actually is not, you're not recognizing OC, because OC is there whether your mind is conscious or unconscious anyway.
Absolutely. But you're recognizing that that expression of I am is springing from the OC.
Right. But that's an intellectual process, right? That to make that
Yes.
inference that it's OC that actually I'm recognizing, not my RC.
That is an intellectual process. That is an intellectual process. That knowledge that what I am seeing is not the RC, that only Shastra tells you.
Right.
So that's an intellectual process.
Right. Thank you.
So, Acharya ji, when I get up from sleep and I realize that I have slept well, is that also the Sakshi, which is witnessing the
Okay, that's a very interesting question. Supposing you have, of course, one doesn't have sushupti for very long periods, right? But when you say I slept well, normally if you had a lot of dreams, you won't say that because your mind has been disturbed. If there has to have some period where you had a quiet mind, sushupti avastha, let us say. But Shastra says in sushupti avastha, your mind is resolved. How do you then know that you had no dreams?
because the consciousness is still there.
No. Conscious is there, whether you are dead also. If your body is dead,
Karana
consciousness.
Shariram Vritti.
Very good. It's called a Karana Shariram Vritti. It's a very, very subtle thought. Even though mind is not there, remember that mind is not active. You cannot say mind is gone. Why?
Because
It is
all the
resolved.
physiological functions are going on.
Because prana is still there. Sukshma Shariram is still there. And therefore, while the active mind doesn't register a thought because it's resolved, there is a passive thought registered. And that's called a Karana Sharira Vritti, which you cannot recognize unless you wake up, unless the mind wakes up. When the mind wakes up, it collects that thought, which is what? That I have had no experience. That's why you say I had a good sleep. That Karana Sharira Vritti is a very, very important concept.
Yes, I'd forgotten. Thank you.
So let us go back. So, therefore, and we talked about Anumana Pramanam, Munmun. I use Anumana Pramanam to, know that the person in front of me is conscious, right? Consciousness I'm recognizing. But strictly speaking, there is a limitation to Anumana Pramanam, You cannot say that because he is talking to me, he is conscious. Can you say that?
It could be AI.
It could be AI. It could be Alexa. You ask Alexa something, Alexa tells you something. Alexa is not conscious, right? You cannot say that person is cleaning my house, so he's conscious. You get these 24,000 rupee robots now who clean houses.
Interestingly, Acharya ji, I asked Alexa, are you AI? So Alexa said, I like to imagine myself as Aurora Borealis and something else.
Okay. Right. So Shobhanam is the next word. Shobhanam is there. Shobhanam is actually Mangalam, auspicious. And why Shobhanam over here? Because the Ananda principle is always auspicious. The happiness principle is always auspicious. Shobhanam has also got one more meaning. Shobhanam can mean clearly revealed, prakashakam. And therefore we can take Shobhanam as consciousness principle also. Chitrupam. Okay. So the next word is Purush Akhyam. So Akhyam means called. So Purush Akhyam means called Purusha. Called by whom? This Atman is called by Purush, by the Shastram as Purusha. When you read Shastram, you will find in many places the word Purusham is used for Atman or Brahman. Right. In normal Sanskrit, or even in Hindi, Purusha means male, right? But in scripture, Purusha is Atman. Atman is not male, Atman is not female, right? In that case, why do you call Atman Purusha? Everybody? If Atman is neither male nor female, why do you call Atman Purusha?
Unable to create.
The first one.
Because
Given
here
that
The
Purusha
Nirvachana
is
for
Sorry?
Puri Shete iti Purusha, isn't it?
Very good.
Stays in
So
the
this
night.
word Purusha is not to do with the male or female part of Atman. It doesn't know either male or female, right? Purusha is pure. The word is used purely because of the etymology. So there are two etymology is the derivation of the word. So there are two ways of deriving. One is Puri Vasati iti Purushaha. What is Puri? Not the one which you eat.
Anagari.
Puri is Nagari, right?
Nagari,
So,
yeah.
and Puri literally in this context is the Nagari where the Jiva is situated, the body, right? Puri Vasati, that which is situated in the body, that which is residing in the body, iti Purusha, that is called Purusha, right? So, body can be male body, female body, animal body, human body, any body. So Puri Vasati iti Purusha, that consciousness principle which is recognizable inside the body. Again, I will say, do not take it as Vasati literally means resides, right? The problem with saying resides is the same problem. You are saying it is not outside, which is not true. And therefore, Puri Vasati iti Purusha, that which is obtaining in the body, recognizable in the body, or resident in the body, that is called Purusha. So that's one etymological derivation. The other one is Purayati Sarvam iti Purushaha. Purayati means which fills up everything, that is Purusha. And this two you have to take together. Puri Vasati literally meaning inside the body. Purayati Sarvam means literally filling up everything outside the body. So that consciousness which is Purusha, but it is intimately pervading the body as well as present outside the body. That is called Purusha. That is why Atman is called Purusha. That Atman is inside the body, also recognizable inside the body, but ultimately the whole world is present in that body, in that consciousness. Therefore, outside the body also. Right. Now, that consciousness the Purusha refers to that consciousness, but we transfer it to the physical body. And therefore, Purusha is often taken as physical body. Right? This is a transfer. It's not the real meaning. Therefore, when you use the body, when you use the word Purusha for the body, it is the actually the Vachyartham. The primary meaning you are using it as body, but literally it is a secondary meaning, because the word Purusham in terms of these two definitions, the primary meaning is consciousness. It is a secondary meaning, which is the body. But the tragedy is when you say Purusha, you mean the body. You are reversing the whole thing. Okay. The next word is Sammatam. So matam, what does the word matam mean?
Opinion.
Opinion. In this case, when is the Shastra's opinion, which means revealed in the Shastra, right? Some matam, some the prefix indicates properly revealed or exhaustively revealed. Exhaustively. So some matam, exhaustively revealed in the Shastra. And therefore Atman is named Purusha in the scriptures, not because of the fact that there is a male-female context, but because of the fact that of these two things, it is inside the body and it is all-pervading also. Then the next one is Deha Atitam. Deha Atitam. Beyond the body. So you are using all contradictory terms. Inside the body, outside the body, beyond the body. And when you say consciousness is Deha Atitam, Atita literally means across, having traveled beyond. But here again, we cannot say that we should not take the word as physically away, spatially away from the body, because consciousness is body is located in consciousness. It can never be spatially away from the body, right? The use of these words, leads to all sort of interpretations by people who are not familiar with Shastra. So you will find yogis who say that I am going to go into Samadhi and then I will travel beyond the body to the Atman. So they'll say that there is some linkage where even when I leave the body, I am linked to the body with some sort of thread. All these ideas will come up, especially in Yoga Shastra. But what is our understanding? Atman is associated with the body. Atman is all-pervading also, because that is the nature of the Atman. So Dehatitam here has a very special meaning. Away from the body in the sense that whatever happens to the body, that event does not affect the Atman. So Dehatitam is, in other words, asangaha, right? Not connected to the body in the sense of not being affected by what happens to the body. That not connected should not be taken as away from the body, spatially away from the body. It just means that whatever happens to the body does not touch the Atman. So these are the ideas, and therefore Shankara says, Kim murkha shunyam atmanam karoshi boho. O murkha, O fool, why do you say Atman is shunyam? Right? So there are certain philosophies which say that Atman is not available for day-to-day transactions. Therefore, it is shunyam. Doesn't exist at all. A not experienceable Atman cannot be taken to exist, is what they say. And this philosophy often referred to as Shunyavada. Right? The Shunyavada does not accept that there is a consciousness different from the body, because while the body is available for all transactions, the Atman is not available for any transaction. Why transaction? Not even for any of the worldly pramanams. You can't see the Atman, you can't talk to the Atman, you can't touch the Atman, you can't taste the Atman. So Shankara here says that just because the Atman is not available for knowing for the pramanams, you are concluding that it is non-existent. And therefore he says, Hey Murkha, O fool, why is it that you cannot understand that you cannot see the Atman, you cannot perceive the Atman for a very simple reason? What is that reason? We all know. What is the reason?
Because you are the very subject.
Because you are the Atman. You cannot witness it because it is a very witness. You cannot deny the existence of the Atman because you are the Atman. And if you say Atman is Shunyaha, it means that you do not exist. It is like saying that, I don't have, or it's like saying that I don't have a tongue. It is a contradiction in terms. You cannot say anything unless you have a tongue. How can you say, I don't have a tongue? And therefore, the Atman Shunya means you are not existing at all. So Shankara says, you are a big aviveki, person who is not informed properly. Okay, any questions so far? Remember that this negation of Shunyavada, etc., we will see in very great detail. Partially we'll see in the Mandukya, but in great detail we'll see in Brahma Sutras. So if you want to see the, Shankara's literal refutation, we'll have to wait for that. These are all simply ideas being conveyed, borrowed from all those texts. Okay. Now
So
we look at
Acharya, Nirmala is also Niravadya.
Nirmala means without any impurity.
So,
Niravadyam is also without impurity. Defects.
yes. Yes. Ji, thanks.
Okay. Now we look at verse number 30. Swatmanam shrunumurkhatvam.
Swatmanam
Murkhatvam.
Shrutya yuktya cha purusham.
Shruta yuktya cha purusham.
Dehatitam sadakaram.
Dehatītam sadakaram
Sudurdarsham bhavadrishehe.
Sudarsham
Sudurdarsham
So again, Shankaracharya is addressing the Shunyavadi. Shrunu murkhantvam. Oh fool, you listen. Okay. You shouldn't take it too seriously because he has not understood. Shankara is saying, oh person who has not understood. Swatmanam shrunu. I will teach you more about the Atman. So please listen, Shrunu. May you listen to me about the Atmanam. And he uses certain words. Purusham. Atmanam is Purusha only. And the two meanings we saw in the last verse. One who dwells in the body and one who pervades everything outside. That is called Purusha. Now he says, I will use a different technique. Shrutya and Yuktya. I will first use logic, Yukti, and then I will use Shruti to teach. So remember, sorry. So remember here, he has used two words, Shrutya, Yuktya. Though he has used Shrutya means Shruti, through Shruti. But though he has used Shruti first in the text, he actually teaches using Yukti, logic first. So he says, what is the logical explanation? Deha Titam. Deha Atitam. Atman is beyond the Deha. What is the logic here? The experiencer is different from the experienced. So Dehatitam means the body is something I experience. And therefore I am beyond the body. I am not the body because I am the experiencer. So that is the way in Dehatitam is to be understood here. That I am not the body because I am something different from the body. What is that? I am the experiencer of the body. Right. And therefore, if I am not the experiencer of the body, then who am I? He says Sadakaram. Sat Akaram. Sat is existence. Right? Sat Chit. Sat existence, Chit consciousness. Sadakaram means Sat Rupam, in the form of pure existence alone. So I am that consciousness principle which is in the form of existence alone. So never say Atman exists. Right? What should you say?
I exist.
Atman is.
Atman is existence. You cannot say Atman exists. Oh, as somebody said, You should not say, I exist also. You should say, I am existence. Right? So Atman is pure existence. So wherever I'm saying Atman, you have to replace with I. Literally speaking, Atma means I in Sanskrit. And therefore, when you say Atman exists, you are saying I exist. But here we are saying, don't even say that. Say that I am the very existence itself. Right? Now, if question, of course, is if I am the very existence principle, which is other than the body, which is what he has said, deha atitam, how can I experience this existence? What is the way of experiencing any existence? Why is it difficult? What is the way of experiencing consciousness?
RM?
RM.
Through
RM,
RM.
RM is what? Nama Rupa, name and form. Existence also requires an object with name and form. So whenever you experience something, remember that it is the existence principle plus some Nama Rupa. Okay, fine. So if I have to experience some object, let us say the mouse. So there is a Nama Rupa, there's a form, there's a name. And the existence principle, of course, is there. So that's why I say mouse exists. Now you take it in reverse. From looking at the mouse, can I understand what is pure existence? How do I understand what is pure existence? By looking at anything, mouse, glass.
Yes, mouse is,
Yeah.
the glass is.
So I have to negate the Nama Rupa. From any object, you negate Nama Rupa, what is left is the isness alone, existence principle alone. That is why I say, he says, Sudur Darsham. Sudur Darsham means what?
Difficult to see.
Difficult to experience. Darsham means literally to see, but you have to take it as experiencing over here. Sudur Darsham is very difficult to experience. Bhavadrishehe. For people like you. So here, Bhavadrishehe means people like you. Here he's talking about, oh Shunyavadi, you can never understand what existence principle is. Why? Because you don't know that it is pure existence. You cannot try to experience existence without the name and form. Existence can be experienced, yes, but only when there is a association with some name and form. And if you want to, you cannot experience existence. You can understand what that experience is by experiencing an object with a name and form, and then intellectually negating the name and form. Whatever remains, that is pure existence. That pure existence is aham, you yourself. And therefore, a very important rule is there, which we saw in Pratibodha Viditam Matam. What is the important rule? Pratibodha Viditam Matam. Where did we come across that phrase?
Kenopanishad.
Upanishad.
So, what did we say? Pratibodha Viditam Matam. That consciousness principle, that existence principle, it is evident pratibodham. In every particular experience, it is there. At the same time, the second part is also there. It is not available for a particular experience. Though it is evident in every particular experience, you cannot experience that principle as a particular experience. I hope you understand that statement. This consciousness existence principle, which is Atman, is available in every particular experience. It is there in every experience. But you cannot look for it as a special particular experience, saying that this is how I'm experiencing Atman. You cannot do that. All you can say is, whenever I have any experience, I am experiencing existence and consciousness principle. Right? We are talking basically things being extracted from Upanishad, and therefore you will find that it's a bit more difficult to comprehend. Any questions?
Acharyaji, this word sadakaram, so it's sat akaram.
Sat
So,
akaram, in the form of Sat, existence principle, having the nature of existence principle.
So normally we use akara for form.
Yes, akara is form.
So, but
But
Brahman
you have to
is
understand this, the
formless.
nature, in the
Okay.
nature of.
Ji, thank you.
Ravi,
Om
could-
Raviji.
Now, Ratraji wants to say something.
okay, yeah. Shrutiya, what does it mean
By
again?
Shruti, through
By
Shruti,
Shruti.
through
Which
Shruti.
means by listening.
Yes, by listening to the Shruti or for by quoting from Shruti, I'm going to explain. That's what I say.
Okay.
Yuktya means by using logic. Yes, somebody else wanted to say?
Yes, with reference to Purva, how would we now look at Prakriti in the same in that same verse? How would we?
Can you repeat, because the first three words dropped out. First few words dropped out. Can you repeat that question?
It is the in the verse that we just I think it is verse number 20. The verse where we discussed the Purusha 29.
Yeah.
So we discussed Purayati
Yeah.
the Purushaha, that which fills up everything.
Correct.
So so would Prakriti then be considered as a superimposition when we use the term Prakriti, if at all here?
Yeah.
Would that be indicating the?
Again, you're dropping. When you use the word Prakriti, what is it you want to say? We can't hear you.
So she was asking, is it superimposition?
See, the word Prakriti is Prakriti Purusha. These two words are used where? Which Shastram?
Patanjali.
Sorry?
Patanjali.
Sankhya, Yoga Shastram, right? Now,
Right.
Yoga Shastram, Prakriti and Purusha are completely independent things. Two independent things, there is no question of superimposition. But if you are saying Purusha in the Vedantic sense, then by Prakriti you are referring to, in Vedanta we say Maya. Maya is a superimposition upon Purusha, but Maya is of a lower level of reality. Maya is Vyavaharika, Purusha is Paramarthika. A superimposition is possible when there is a lower level of reality. Like the snake on the rope. The snake is Pratibhasika, the rope is Vyavaharika. The snake is of a lower level of reality than the substratum.
Right. Right. Thank you.
Okay, so any other questions? Otherwise, we'll stop for today. All right. Thank you for your patience. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat. Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you for your patience. Om Om.
So much, Acharya ji.